Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Saturday Grub with us. I am Natasha
This is Eddie.
and today we're going to be talking about our past selves and our current selves and how much we've changed over time.
Yeah.
Hopefully matured.
Uh, so how were you whenever you were? Let's say, let's go. Let's start
Well, let's start with telling.
let's start at 10. Let's start at 10 years old. How were you at 10 years old?
How was I at 10 years old? Can barely remember, but let's see. 10 years old, huh? I was in 5th grade, and that was the year that my grandmother passed away, so I was a wreck. I guess childish, but I've always been a quiet person. So I didn't have a lot of friends. I wasn't allowed to go out, obviously. I mean, nobody's really allowed to go out at 10, I guess. I don't know how it is here, but very quiet to myself. Not really a troublemaker because I didn't have anybody to make trouble with. Only child problems. But let me see. I had a stepbrother who was very mean. I think I was very to myself. I tried to fit in, but I guess it was what it was. I don't know. I don't know. 10-year-old self, I would say childish. And now looking back, I don't know.
I don't know. Well, I was an awkward kid.
Yeah.
Well, of course we're childish. We're kids, 10 years old. We barely had Shyla, so I like messing with her. She was maybe like 1 year old whenever I was 10. No, not even one. She was like I was like a little bit over 9.5 whenever she was born, so she was a couple months. So I like to poke her at her. Yeah, I was a loner. I've always been a loner.
Me too.
But especially in my childhood, I didn't have many friends because I was that weird kid. You know those jokes whenever people are like, go play with the neighbor's kid. I was the neighbor's kid. Yeah.
Kid.
No, I was that kid.
But you made a friend out of your neighbor, and he's one of your best friends now. Well, he is your best friend now.
Well, cause he was also that neighbor's kid.
He was
We the only reason we were friends was because we're pretty similar.
too
We were,
awkward.
we were that neighbor. You know what I mean?
You were those neighbors.
Yeah. We were literally the only ones out. Like, you know how kids will play, well, back in the day, kids will play out on the street and stuff. Him, me, and his little brother, Sam.
Yeah.
We were pretty much the only ones. And then, the other neighbors came along. But then we realized those are the neighbors' kids. But yeah, I was just weird. I was awkward. I was the anime kid. Back then, it was a good thing.
Oh, wow.
So how were you? Oh, how were you in your 15s? Do you remember your 15s?
In my 15s, yeah. Oh my god. I was fat, obese, made fun of. Had a lot of friendships that were, I guess, not the best friendships, but at that, I guess that's high school, yeah, high school. I was in my third year of high school. Well, in Fiji, you have 5 years of high school. I was in my third year. I had some friendships that, well, I'd say those were the years that I lost some friends and I made some lifetime friends, like lifelong friends. Those friends that I made in that year are still my friends till date, even though we're like halfway across the country, halfway across the world from each other. We still keep in touch here and there. And there are times when we don't talk, like we go for months without talking, but when we get back in touch, it's like we just pick up right where we left off from. And let's see what else. 15. Yeah, I said I think yeah. I was fat in that year, super fat. try to join sports clubs in high school. I remember when I told my dad, I was like, Dad, I want to join like a badminton team. And I actually went for tryouts and I got picked for the team. And I told my dad, and he was like, you gotta work on your grades before you try to do any extracurricular activities. And he straight up told me, he was like, no, you can't join the badminton team because you need to keep your grades all in A's. And I had like B's and C's, which didn't work for my dad. And especially like if you're a brown kid, your parents always expect the best from you. Like if you come home with like a 99% on an exam, they're gonna be like, what happened to that 1%, you know? Like those are the kind of like I don't know, it's just the super brown thing. They have this thing where they're gonna compare you to your cousins, to the neighbor's kid, to any other person or any other kid that's not their own. So yeah, I was in that phase where I tried to fit in, try to be more social, try to make more friends, but I had a lot of restrictions. I didn't have a cell phone even when I was 15. Um, I don't know, like I think it was just growing up in a very conservative and like a strict family that gave me a lot of restrictions. Like I didn't have a lot of freedom. I wasn't allowed to go out with my friends. Wasn't allowed sleepovers. Like I said, didn't have a phone. None of my friends could come over. And yeah, it was pretty, I don't know, it was pretty crazy. We didn't have like an open life. It was all in a box. Like you wake up at 6, you help do the dishes, help with the breakfast making, you pack your lunch, you go to school. And then after school, you come home, do your homework, help with dinner, clean the house again, go to sleep early. It was just a routine. Like even in the weekends, if you didn't have school, like my stepmom would wake me up like super early. At the latest we slept was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. You wake up, clean the house, and then that was it. Like you help with lunch and stuff, but nothing more than that. Like I wasn't allowed any sort of social freedom. That was when I was with my stepdad and my mom and my stepmom and my dad.
Damn.
I was 15.
That sounds like a rough teen year.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think maybe I shouldn't complain because back in Fiji, most brown kids, that's just how it is. Unless you have like cool parents, you get to go out or like you get to have sleepovers or like you have a phone if you're lucky or if you're rich. But otherwise, that's just the basic brown life as it is. But yeah. What about you? How was your 15 when you were 15?
Go ahead and eat. I'll talk now.
Oh, we didn't even tell them what we're having.
Oh, you want to tell them since you haven't taken a bite? Unlike me, I already finished. Well, almost.
We made some Oreo pancakes at home.
Well, she made.
I made. In a span of like 15 minutes.
Yeah, she's the cook of the family.
Not really. No. We made some Oreo pancakes and we have some turkey bacon. And he has his apple juice and I have his I have my matcha green tea latte iced.
Yeah, well, go ahead and eat. I'll tell them about my 15s. Not much changed between my 10s and 15s.
Really?
I was still, your mic's not on, by the way. I was still the awkward kid. Don't close it all the way. It just makes noise. So I kept it open. So I didn't really change between my 10s and 15s. I was still the anime kid, pretty much. I was still that awkward kid. 15, probably high school. What year were you in?
Third.
Third.
No, just kidding. Second year.
Second year. Well, I can't remember if that's me too. If I was a freshman or whatever year, but if it was freshman, I went to a school with with a lot of awkward kids. So I got along kind of well because they were all nerds and whatever. Then I got kicked out of that school.
Why?
because I wasn't smart enough and I started picking fights with teachers. Um, and then I got sent to the next school, which I spent the rest of the 3 years of high school. I was very awkward there too. I mean, I made a friend, but at the same time, it was an old friend. You know what I mean? Um, well, yeah, she and I would pretty much hang out a lot, and then I made the same thing happen with another friend. Um, she is because I will only have like maybe one, two friends every year, so I never actually had friends.
You made friends every year?
No, so I will have like it'll be the same friends, but sometimes I only have one or two of those friends around me. Or like they went on their own path, and then I only have that one friend. Cause Edwin and I, we weren't on the same grade. I mean, I saw him when in freshman year. We were in the same school. Um, but he's like that. I don't know if I should say this. That he's like smart. Like he's extremely smart, but he's so that like you look at him and it's like he's kind of dumb. You know what I mean? But he's like extremely smart. He's like he's a smart dumb person.
He's like the kind of smart that doesn't show his smart. He's probably
No,
also the kind that doesn't need to study for exams.
he didn't. He really didn't. Go ahead, Nate. Yeah, so he was that, and freshman year I would see him around. He was a senior, so it was already last year of high school, so he was already going to graduate that year. And I would see him around. You know, he'll be hanging out with his friends though, because we would have completely different classes because of the year gap. Um, and also he was a skater boy, and if I try to skate, I will hurt myself. I actually have a lot of times. I have tried to do what's called a kickflip, but it landed like this, and I broke my board by landing on it between my legs, and it hurt so bad. I'm surprised I was able to make that. Um, yeah, it was just, and then freshman year, I had one friend, pretty much. I mean, everybody was like knew each other, but we weren't like friends. Well, actually, that year I actually had three friends. And I had two that I guess we had to take a test to prove how smart we were, quote unquote, I guess. So I met them there, and then we ended up having classes together. So we became friends, and then it's pretty much just one friend. The whole thing. I was very awkward. Um, anime kid. Actually, the sophomore year, the beginning of sophomore year, the second year of high school. I didn't talk to nobody actually. I had like no friends because it was the year I got kicked out of the school and I went to the other school. Um, I knew people because of I knew them back from middle school and stuff. But I would be that. I don't know. Did you ever had a kid in the stairs in like the far corner of the school? That one awkward kid in the dark stairs. That was me.
Like the one that has no friends?
Yes,
That was you?
that was me. I was that one kid that whenever you go to the corner of the school, there's like the stairs of the corner of the school to go up or down. I will be sitting there, either reading a manga book, or watching anime, or I don't know, playing a mobile game or something.
You're so weird. How did we end up together?
I mean, I changed a little. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right. Well, let's move on to let's do another 5 year gap. So 20s.
20s. My 20s were pretty. Huh. I was in college for sure. I was. Let's see. I was in my second year of college. In Fiji, since high school is 5 years, your bachelor's degree or your undergrad in college is only 3 years because you've already finished. Well, basically, you finished 1 year in high school.
Mm.
So instead of that extra year in college, you get that extra year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So college's bachelor's degree, college undergrad was only 3 years, and I was in my second year. Then again, like I don't know. I think I probably would be saying this a lot, or I have been saying this a lot, or I would be making the comparison a lot of being a brown kid compared to being a non-brown kid. Well, I think, but after you finish high school, most parents end up getting a little more lenient, or they give you a little more freedom. But that was not the case with me. Well, yeah, in the last year of high school, I ended up being on a hockey team in Fiji. We just do field hockey. There's no indoor or ice hockey because there's no ice or snow in Fiji, obviously. But yeah, and I guess I paid more attention to being on that hockey team, or I was more involved in that extracurricular than I was academically. Because in Fiji, when you in your last year of high school, you do this university entrance exam, and if you get above a certain score, then certain universities admit you in it, and if you get a below one, you have to settle for whatever you get. And I didn't make the cut for that high end universities, or actually, I mean, the high end would take you, but not for the program that, like, everything's according to GPA, and if you don't get a high score, you don't get a certain program. You have to go for like the lower end ones. And the university that I actually wanted to go to, I wanted to do radiology tech, which is doing X-ray scanning and stuff. My score didn't even make the cut for anything in the medical field, like the medical school. I couldn't go to that, so I had to just settle for whatever I could do. And luckily, there was one university that's about like a 30-minute drive from where I used to live. I used to live with my grandmother and my younger uncle, and my grandmother was actually, or she still is, a librarian at that university. So she was like, "Oh, why don't you do that? We could always travel together." Like, I was really close to my grandmother in the duration that I lived with her. After I turned 16, I moved with my mom's family, and I was living with her. So then I went to that university when I was 20 years old. I guess I ended up doing like a Bachelor of Science degree, which is a 3 year undergrad. And it was actually my grandmother's idea. She was like, "You could do that, and then going forward, you can always just go end up doing a master's in science. You can end up doing a lab job or whatever you want." But sad enough, even after I spent those 3 years in college in Fiji, now coming to the US, most colleges don't take that. Like, they don't accept the degree from the college I went to. So, well, there goes 3 years down the drain. I think the only advantage would be that I have a bachelor's degree from an international country, and then now when I start or go back to school here, I'm gonna have another bachelor's degree. So, I guess that's a win-win situation. But for me personally, I think I did end up wasting those 3 years academically. But I did end up making some good friends. I ended up finding my best friend there. I mean, you're still my best friend, babe. But I do have a best friend from when I was in college. She is one of my favorite people ever. She does mean a lot to me. She's super short. So we had that friendship where one best friend was tall and then the other one was like super short. That's how our friendship was. But I think other than that, in my 20s, it was pretty good. I don't have any like major complaints. But that was that. I mean, I still had restrictions. I wasn't allowed to go out with friends a lot, but I did have a phone. And I was in college, so it wasn't all that bad. It was pretty good. What about What else? Let me see what else I can think about in my 20s. Mm, I wasn't a party animal. Um, Not in my 20s. Be quiet. You gonna spill all my secrets here? It gave me that look like, don't make me tell them what's up, babe. Like, I know you did things before you turned 20. Oh, and also the legal age in Fiji, like the legal drinking age or whatever in Fiji is 18. So you finish high school and you'll be all good.
Um, so I'm 22. So I'm
You're
right.
not 22.
I am 22.
You are not 22.
How old am I? I'm 22. Aren't?
No,
And
you're
don't I turn
not.
23 this year?
No.
Wait, how old am I?
You turned 24, 22.
I'm 23 already.
God.
Wait,
Yeah,
when,
dude.
what year was I born?
You were born in 1997.
Oh.
You are not 20. He is not 22.
I don't know my age. All right, whatever. What? I'm still 20 something, 23. I mean, you too, but you're older than me. So in my 20s, I were we in school already? Whenever I was in my 20s, like 20, like actual 20.
Yeah, because you turned 21 that December.
Oh, okay, okay.
That we.
Yeah. So I was 20. I went to a school because I was under the influence of something. Um, and
Chemicals.
and they're not chemicals. It's a plant. Um, and a school called me and there was a little old lady that said, "Hey, this your friend put you down as a potential person that wants to come to the school. Would you be interested?" And I was soaring through the sky at that moment. So I was like, yeah, I had nothing to do. So they told me come down to school. So I went down to the school again under the influence. So I remember parts here and there. Um, and I remember talking to this old lady, and then she went around to introduce me to like other staff members or whatever. Like the person that does all the financial stuff and whatever. Like it was just like going around me meeting other people that I might be interested to talk to, which I wasn't. Um, and everybody was like, "Oh, you have so good bedside manners." I was like, "I'm not even here right now, man. Like, you can talk to me. I'll be calm." But whatever. That happened. I went to school. Um, then there was this one really weird girl there. Oh, yeah. Um, the first time I ever spoke to her was we were talking. I guess it was a clip of The Big Bang Theory, and I guess nobody watched it except for like her and I. Again, she was very weird.
She seems pretty cool.
No, she was very weird. Then we passed that class. We went to the next class. And then well, honestly, I think I was still under the influence whenever she talked to me again, but I was like recovering at the same time. So I was under the influence of alcohol and a plant, and recovering from the day before from the same thing. So I was kind of down that day, and she came up to me and she asked me if I was okay. Again, extremely weird.
Seems so caring.
No,
Like
just,
really
just
nice
extremely weird, and unfortunately, I asked the weird kid out, and now we have a kid together. So there's that.
At least you got one good thing out of that weird school.
I mean, Did I? No, play. So I haven't gone to um my 2 5 years yet. You have gone through not 25 but 26. Well, almost
I'm
through
26
26.
already.
Yeah, I'm saying like you almost complete your 26. So you want to talk about those 2 years? Since I only have 3 years in my 20s.
Yeah. I think my biggest accomplishment as a 25-year-old was my daughter. I had my daughter when I was 25.
You know how I understood that?
What?
I heard a 25-year-old was my daughter. Anyways, I thought it was funny. Continue.
What? But yeah, so I turned 25 last year in April, and then in July I had my firstborn, little Miss Kayla Mendez. I think that was my major thing for me, becoming a mother. Um, it really is a huge milestone. It's taught me a lot of things. It's changed me into becoming a better person, more patient for sure, but then I think a little more daring overall. Because I think before I was a mom, for me, a lot of things had to be about other people, but now I think my primary focus is my daughter. I mean, there's always been you, but my daughter more than you. I mean, no, kidding, not kidding. I don't know. I can't differentiate the importance between you and her separately, but I think for every parent, I don't know if they how would you make someone choose between their partner and their offsprings?
In one sense, like live and die.
No, like if someone's asking you who's more important to you, your child or your husband or your wife or your partner or
Kayla.
whoever. It took him less than like 5 seconds to answer that question, and here I am contemplating everything. Fine, I guess it's my daughter for me too. You know what? Ow.
That's what you get.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Besides being a mom, let's see. 20, let's go by the year, I guess. 2019 was, I guess, one of the years that I had accomplished a lot more than I did. Starting from January, I got my first car. In March, I started a new job. In April, I turned 24 and I moved out. In May, I got engaged.
Which hopefully none of my family members see because they don't know yet.
I meant like engaged with you. Like I finally, I'm like, I guess he's the one for me.
Oh, well, now everyone knows that we're engaged.
Well, then cut it off.
No, that's fine. It's not like anybody watches us.
Well, cut that
from our
part
family.
off. No. I'll go again. I'll start again. Cut that whole 2018 part off.
Okay.
I'll start again then.
That's up to you.
Okay. Well, let's see. I guess a year before last year was 2019. Was the year that I accomplished a lot more. I think let's start from January. In January was the January was the month I bought my first car, all by myself. February, March, I started a new job. April, I turned 24 and I moved out. May was actually my first road trip here in the US, and that was with you. May, June, July, I finished school, started internship. July, August, September, October was when we had the graduation ceremony, right? It was in October, I think. October is when we graduated, and I guess the end of that same month was when we decided to have our daughter, unknowingly. And then by the end of the year I think it was before Christmas that I kind of felt like I was pregnant because I was having all these weird symptoms. So in November-ish, end of November, starting December-ish. It was when I found out that I was pregnant. But it was like a confirmed pregnancy in January. That was already 3 months, and then that was 2020. Like 2020 was all about our pregnancy and our firstborn. We found out we were having a girl in April, March, I think. I think it was March. Yeah. It was March that we did our gender reveal. April was when I turned 25. May was my first Mother's Day without my child physically being there, but me as
I think she was there, but she was just in there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, she wasn't physically there with me. I mean, she was physically in me, but yeah, that was my first Mother's Day as a mom. June was when we had our baby shower, and then July she was born. Exactly 39 weeks and 1 day. I was 39 weeks and 1 day when she was. I had a pretty short labor too. It wasn't all that bad. Contractions started like 6:37 in the morning, and then I had her at 9:44 in the night. Yeah, and then from there it was just going up and getting better. With her, we had our first Halloween with her first Thanksgiving, her first Christmas. It was just exciting. I think all her firsts were pretty exciting.
You want to know something about the delivery day? So you know how big the Big Bang Theory was on TV that day?
Yeah.
So I was watching Sheldon and is her name May? What's her name? Sheldon's girl? Amy? I was watching. Amy? I think so. I don't know.
Look it up.
But I was watching them get the Grammy while you were having the kid.
That was my Grammy to you.
Like, you know, the resting periods whenever like okay, take a rest.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, all right, me too.
Oh yeah! Oh my god!
The TV was left on, so whenever she was pushing, like the doctors and you know her, I can hear that, were all like looking at me whenever it's supposed to be looking at her, but like, so she was pushing, you know, she went from brown to like bright red, so I couldn't be watching TV because she was just staring at me, pushing. She was like, it was like she was taking the biggest. Can I say dump? I'm gonna say dump. The biggest dump ever.
Oh my god, you're so embarrassing.
She turned bright red, like the cap of that. The
It was hard. Okay, it was like the worst.
I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying that's what you look like. And then what was she, a nurse?
She was a midwife. Well, we didn't have an actual OB or an OBGYN. She was a midwife, and then we had the LND nurses in there.
Yeah, well, she was like
the main person.
Yeah, the one
midwife.
delivering. Yeah. She was like, look at mama. I was like, I'm looking.
It was crazy.
And then she's like, look at baby. I was like, the baby's not there. All I see is.
Oh my god, that was weird because the bed that I was on, and then they had like this mirror position. I'm pretty sure like moms out there know this, so they've had this experience too, where they're on the bed and then they put this mirror right above.
They had a mirror? Huh? They had a mirror?
Yeah, that's where they were telling me that you can look at it while you're like pushing your baby out, so you can get that first look, I guess. So they had a mirror like positioned right above. It was from like I guess my abdomen to my lower part. Like I guess mid thigh, so I could see and oh my god, when she was like, "Okay, mom, the head's out," all I could see was like black stuff, and I was like, "What is that?" And then after the baby came out,
El Diablo.
It was just a head full of hair. She had so much hair, and I think one of the first things I said to you was, "All that heartburn I got was worth it." Like I had massive heartburn in like the second and the third trimesters.
I really don't remember.
Oh, I said that, but you don't remember a lot of things.
No. I just remember some little alien coming out of you.
It was just so weird, like to see all that hair, and then like with all the fluids and everything sticky on her, like her hair was just stuck, like oiled down hair. It just looked weird.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Have you? I don't know if anybody that's seen a cow be born. That was pretty much what it was.
you calling my daughter a cow?
Yes.
Calling me a cow?
No. No, it was so slimy and all the juices and.
Okay, we don't need to talk about the delivery. They don't want to know about the delivery. This is about our past and present and future.
That's true. We went so far off topic.
I know you started it.
You started it. Anyways.
Well, I guess the main thing we were trying to say was.
All right. Well, now let's compare what you said.
Oh, sorry.
For your tens and now, I guess. So, what has changed? Would you say from right now to whenever you were like around 10?
A lot. I have grown up.
Yes, you have.
Well, I think I don't know. But obviously physically grown, but emotionally, intellectually grown up. And I think one advice that I would go back and tell my younger self is put yourself before the others around you. Like if you spend your life trying to please other people, or like the people around you are in your life, it's going to be a very hard thing, or like you're going to have a very hard time. But once you stop caring about the people around you, I'm not saying to completely just disregard their feelings or whatever, but do not try to please other people before putting what's good for you ahead. Like try to do that instead of thinking about what other people are going to say, or like how do I make that person happy, like how do I do things in a way that makes X, Y, and Z happy, how do I do things in a way that makes X, Y, and Z proud of me. Try to do things that make you proud of you, or like that make you happy for you, you know. I think that's something that I had a lot of trouble with. But now that I'm older, I'm like, okay, I think I'm still working on it, but I think it's much better now compared to my younger self. Like, and don't try to fit in. Like, if you're different, you're different, and it's not always a bad thing.
See, I never really had a problem with that. I didn't care about anybody. I never tried to fit with anybody because I had nobody to fit in with. I never had friends.
I think part of the reason that I did turn into that person is you, because I feel like if it was someone who had the same mindset as me, we would still be out there trying to please our families or like the people around us. But with you, I feel like I got turned into a more tough person. Like I can handle a lot more now compared to how I was before. I think I still am sensitive right now at this age, at this point. But before, like in the past, I was way more sensitive. Like every little thing would make me upset. I'd get sad. Like I wouldn't get mad a lot, but I would be so unhappy about things. But now I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. Like you just gotta take one day at a time, take things as they are, and keep moving on. But yeah.
I say it's pretty much the same. I'm still the weird anime kid.
There's no way you're telling me that nothing has changed.
I got dumber.
In the duration of, how old are you? 13 years.
I mean, something has changed. I got fat. I used to be a very lanky kid. Like, this tripod has more girth to it than my arms used to have back in the day. Probably still do. I probably look like the poles right here holding up these lights. Probably could pass off as one of these poles. Honestly, nothing much has changed. I'm still the weird anime kid. I'm still wearing glasses. I'm still I guess I got dumber. I got dumber a lot. I just be a smart kid. I know a lot of random facts.
A lot.
Like useless random facts, but
I don't think you're particularly meaning that you got dumber. It's just that you don't use your intelligence as much as you did before. Like you still have that level of intelligence and the smartness. You're just more lazy with it.
I guess. I still only have 2 friends, pretty much.
Yeah.
Nothing really changed. I got taller by like an inch.
You started making money.
I mean, I guess I'm an adult now. I have to have money. So I have a kid. That's the biggest change. I have you. That's a pretty big change. I know how to drive. Well, I knew how to drive back then too.
Yeah.
I used down. Remember, I used to take my dad's car all the time. Um, what has changed?
Well, what is one advice that you would give your younger self now when you look back? Like if you could go back and tell yourself this is.
Well, I guess I was a little bit more shy back in the day.
Yeah.
And well, the advice I'll give to my past self, probably I can't say that in camera, but I'll probably just tell my past self stop being that shy. Cause when you're a little kid, you even though you don't care about anybody's like opinion,
Yeah.
you still care.
Yeah.
Like you're still at that age. You begin to look around. You're trying to find your place. I guess the same as you. Stop caring that much. Because in the future, ain't nobody gonna care about you. Whatever you do, and then if you fail, whoever was there, really for you, will stay there. Yeah. I mean, look at my two friends. I've been having them pretty much my whole life. Because Leslie, I met in second grade when I was in second grade. Yeah. And Edwin, I met whenever I was in first grade. So I had them since then.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. Like, if they're the genuine people in your life, regardless of your situation or no matter what happens, they're gonna be there. Like, they're always gonna be there for you. Yeah. I think that's what it is. And at the end of the day, only you are responsible for what makes you happy. Like, you cannot determine that on the basis of other people or things around you, you know?
Also, I think I would tell myself start earlier. Because I had the thing, like, I wanted to do this back then too.
Yeah, like start working on yourself and do what you want to do.
Because I never wanted to work for someone. I've always wanted to be my own boss. But everybody, well, mainly my father, kept on putting me down and telling me I wasn't going to do much. Because technically first I wanted to do art. Like, I was big on, like, drawing, painting, all that. But my dad, well, he's my dad. Well, you know what that means. He always told me it's a waste of time. Stop wasting your time. And he actually ripped up some of my drawings whenever I was over there.
I think there's a lot of people out there that feel like things are not like, or well, if you tell them something like this is not a real job, for them a real job is something that is on paper that brings you money, like on a weekly basis, on like a daily basis, like you get paid every hour and you get paid good. If you don't have that kind of money, like, it's, I think they're just not as into things that you're passionate about, or like how would you say, like, ambitious about. It's about what helps you create a better, or like a more stable future, you know, like a more stable life. Like, they monetize a lot of things. So I think there's people out there that are like, okay, if there's no income coming in from that, it's a waste of time.
Well, because I started working when I was 5. So if I wasn't doing some kind of way to get money, my dad wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
You're watching TV? No TV. That doesn't bring money.
Yeah.
You're sleeping? No, that doesn't make money.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people out there like that. Like, I worked with one of the persons, and that's what her mindset was. She was like, no, that's not a real job. Like, you need to go out and make money. Like, you don't get money, it shouldn't be considered a job. But
Yeah.
what they don't realize is you gotta work on it, you know? Like, you gotta be patient and you just gotta persevere through it. And at the end of the day, it's just what you want to do, what makes you happy. Because if you're not happy doing what you're doing, it's just gonna turn into a chore.
Yeah. Another thing I would tell my 10-year-old self: don't go at my dad whenever he comes at you that day. Cause my dad. So I woke up one day and, like I said, to him, anything that doesn't do with money, he doesn't like. So he was working. He used to drive a box truck,
Yeah,
delivering things for companies.
yeah.
And he was outside working on it. And I woke up. I went to the table. I started eating. My dad didn't like that. I couldn't eat until I worked. So I wasn't aware.
What? That's something similar to. I mean, my stepmom wasn't that bad, but she was like, okay, you wake up in the morning, the first thing you do is clean the house. Like, if you're not cleaning the house, you're not gonna eat breakfast. Like, you have to sweep and mop the house before you get any kind of like, you get a sandwich or like cereal or whatever it is. Like, even though she's had breakfast before me, but for me, like, it was always you do the work and then you kind of earn your food.
Yeah, but like I was saying, I didn't know he didn't like that. So he came in and he started screaming. He lifted me off the chair, and that was the first time I ever went at my dad.
And you were
And
what, 10?
10, 11, or 12, somewhere around there. Um, and so he picked me up, and I was like I said, I looked like one of those poles holding up the lights. And I was like a little scrawny little kid, and I got mad, and I'm like, I can take this guy. So I tried to tackle him. All I did was bounce off, so he grabbed me, started punching me in the head, and then he's like, if I really wanted to, I could have sent you to the hospital. Blah blah blah. My advice to you, kid, if I could ever go back to you, don't go at your dad because you are gonna get your butt whooped that day. Well, not even whooped. You're gonna get punched in the head repeatedly.
Damn, sounds abusive.
Oh no, he was. He was very abusive, and it was just to me. My sisters never got hit. Um, but yeah, I mean, I haven't really changed, to be honest, from when I was 10 to now.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I've matured a little bit more. I mean, that's not saying much, but uh, I guess I know more about the world. Besides, like life experiences, I really haven't changed.
Yeah.
I still watch anime. Uh,
Got me into watching anime.
yeah, we're watching My Hero. Um, and then I'm still I've been wanting to do this since I was a kid. Now that I'm older, I'm an adult. I can do whatever I want because I'm an adult. I started doing it. Um, I guess the thing I don't draw no more. All that art stuff I don't really do anymore. Remember how I don't know. It's just my neck. I don't know. I mean, I still have my art thing, like the journal. Remember when I was trying to make my own comics? Oh, um, but yeah, that's another thing that's changed. I got fat. My head's a little harder. I hit myself on the cabinet right there, so But yeah, I haven't changed like you have. You know what I mean? Like I haven't gone through that big change where like because I'm still immature. To be honest, I'm still like I might be matured now and everything, but I'm still immature. Like I still make the same dumb jokes, um, like yo mama jokes, and that's what she said, and all that. But like I said, I still haven't had my like huge
I think
change.
that's what creates the balance in our relationship.
What?
That you're the childish one, and I'm the more mature one.
Jerk.
You had literally just said that I don't think I'm matured. Like I'm still that
No, I
childish
said,
kid.
I said, I guess I matured, but I'm still
No,
saying.
you said
All
I
right, all
haven't
right. When
matured.
we watch this back, if I'm right, once I do everything, I watch back.
Whatever, man. We'll see.
You get to give me a massage, all right? Deal.
No.
Okay, deal. You
No, I
saw
can't.
you first. Okay.
No.
All right. Anything else? Any other changes? Anything you feel like has changed from your past self to your present self?
I think I can stand up for myself now. Like growing up, I couldn't do that. Like I grew up very timid, very scared to speak up, very scared to stand up for myself. I would never do that. But now, I think actually this year, something just changed, and now I'm like, you know what? I don't need to be that scared person anymore. Like I need to take a stand for myself, and I did. Like I've done some big things, some huge things that I never thought I would be capable of. But at the end of the day, stop.
What?
At the end of the day, it's for my own good, you know. Like now I can back myself up. But I think yeah, over the years, one thing that's been getting better for me is I think I'm getting stronger, like not just physically getting bigger. Um,
No, mine stays the same. It's just a bit fatter.
not just physically getting bigger, but I think mentally maturing and getting more. I would say more intelligent. I mean, I don't know how to put that out, but being able to understand things better.
Becoming bigger nerd.
I'm not a nerd.
You're a nerd.
I am not a nerd. But yeah, I think I'm emotionally stronger, physically stronger, mentally stronger.
Maybe I take that back. No big words.
But yeah, I think for me it just keeps getting better. Hopefully over the years it gets better and better. And one day when we look back, I'll be like, you know what? I see myself growing. Like I see myself growing into a much happier and better person. But yeah, that's all.
Yeah, of course you have me now. So
that's all I have to say for today.
yeah. All right. Well, you want to sign out then?
Yeah.
All right. Well then, thank you for joining us in another. I don't know why I'm holding this. Thank you for another coming.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Saturday Grub. We were having some technical glitching over here. I guess
my voice
so
box.
Much for maturing over time. We're still working on that. But thank you for joining us, guys. We'll see you again next week.